Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. Now, from our previous race, we had a good result. If we come over to our calendar and take a quick glance back, we ended up 5th and 10th. And if you remember, actually, it was a little bit better than that, but Sergio had a rules violation. We got caught with a part that got banned, so he lost a couple of spots on the grid there. But overall, a pretty good race for us. So if we come back to our home screen and look at where we are in the driver championship, we are 1st and 10th. But most importantly, in the team standings, we are currently 1st. So we want to keep that momentum going. We've got a nice lead here, so we've got to keep hammering as hard as we can. If we look at the top of the screen here, again, the home screen has such a lot of information, a lot of valuable information. We can see we're still at the bottom of the grid on our car, but we are 1st in drivers. And now with the recent completion of our test track, we are now in sort of the middle of the grid on HQ. That lets you really know where things stand as far as how much work is being done in the Tier 3 series on the HQ. So the AI is very aggressive with that. We currently have the 2nd best staff. And if you look at number 1, that would make sense. They're a Tier 2 team coming down to Tier 3, so it makes sense that they would be 1st. So we're right there in the running there. And then our sponsorship fluctuates a lot. We've spent a lot of time at number 1 on this list. Now we've fallen down mid-pack because our last few sponsor renewals or new sponsors outright really haven't given us the money that I was hoping for. We've gotten some nice money up front, but not as nice of money overall as I was hoping for. So we're going to keep charging along. We've got our new engine that is working, but take a look at our car overall. You can see again, overall is 10th. We're last on the grid on top speed, which I am very desperate to get an increase on because basically top speed is important everywhere. It's crucial at most of the tracks we go to, even though I don't spend a lot of time looking at those screens for each race. And if you're not sure what I mean, before each race, the screen will pop up and you can see in the top right-hand corner the track guide. Okay, and on most of these, top speed is listed as one of the 3 options. It's either crucial or useful. And we can see going into our next race at Ardennes, it is crucial. Well, we're lagging way behind on that, so I'm desperate to get that up. As you can see, we don't have the funds for that right now. But we do have an engine in development. And let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit so we can get back into our improved parts screen. We'll let them go ahead and get the, let's see, we've got a scouting report finished, and then there's our car repair email. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. And let's see, our Christian West will be one of the weakest drivers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's take a quick look. Yeah, this is not good at all. Okay, so if we come back to our home screen, you can see that we've got a couple more days for our last scouting report, 16 more days there. Let's come back under our car and improve parts. So let's look at where our big time problems are. Well, our brakes. We just got our new brakes, which are a good bit better than anything we had before, but now that's banned. So we're not going to be able to use that anymore. So you might think of that as money wasted, but I don't. I think of it as a simple case of we were doing the best we could and it didn't work out. Just like if you apply a strategy during a race, sometimes it works out great for you, but sometimes it just doesn't work and you just move on. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to continue to push really hard to have the best parts we can. But we really need to get that bonus in our next race. We really, really need that so we can get some working capital and continue development. So right now, we're not really working on a lot. We've got our newest part that we've been working on, both reliability and the performance. You see the performance is basically maxed out at this point. All right, so let's see if there's anything we need to really work on. Now is honestly an opportunity that since we're not going to have a new part for a while, our new engine won't be done until, whatever, like 8 to 10 days before our next race. So it's probably not going to be usable, but we don't know that just yet. We'll see. So right now, there's an opportunity to really get the reliability up on our parts as high as we can. So far, 70% has kind of been the standard as what I want for a minimum to hopefully not have to do any repairs during a race. But now's an opportunity for us to really move this forward and get as high as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Before I do brakes, I want to make sure about our engines. Okay, let's go ahead and put both of our engines in here. Again, there's a possibility that we may have the new engine and we can devote all of our efforts to it and get it ready in that 8 or 10 days we have. But I'm not going to count on that right now. Let's see, we've already got this part in here. Let's go ahead and add this in there as well. So gearbox and engine should not be an issue for the next race. And our brakes looking pretty good. Pretty good. Again, not wonderful, but we want everything ultimately above 90% by the end of the season so that we can really push in every race. But we're doing good. Now, it's time to look at some sponsorship. You can see we have 3 offers on the table right now, or 3 slots rather, to take a look at. Looks like we got 1 offer and a couple, and then 2 competing offers here. Let's see what we get for race bonus. Now, we got 12th or above and 3rd or above. So let's see what we get here. Okay, they want us to come in first place, which we're not probably ever going to be choosing. But the big deal is they're giving us $1 million up front. So that is huge, and it is perfect timing for us. That's really going to help us out with part development, and it pushes us over $1.5 million. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the other offer that there's only 1 available for. Okay, and it's more upfront money. So 2.75, the deal length is 8 races. Okay, so we'll take that. You know, it's not the biggest deal that we've gotten for our fixed payments from sponsors because it's, you know, in the mid 300,000 range if you break it down per race. But at the same time, we'll take it because we definitely need the upfront money. Okay, and let's see what we got here. Deal length for both is very similar. Fixed amount per race is very similar, but what is not similar is the upfront. So this actually is a pretty easy one to figure out. Let's go with the upfront money and a little bit more per race, although I really wish this would be increased to give us more per race. But we'll go with that, an extra $1 million, and now we're at $5.3 million. So a nice influx of cash. And it looks like our next sponsor to be up will be Hypertech here in a couple more races. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and move things forward. Okay, it looks like we got a new scouting report that's done. We're not particularly worried about that right now. We're going to let this thing continue going. You can see not a whole lot happening right now until we get to one of the things that I'm not crazy about in this game. Let's first take a quick look at our new scouting report. Let's see what we've got. A Wonder Kid. Okay, so potential is plus 50. Not bad, up to 3 stars. Marketability, not terrible. Feedback, not terrible as well. Okay, so again, not too bad overall. Looks like that she's had a little bit of experience, maybe as a 3rd driver on a team, looks like. No races, no podiums or anything, but probably a 3rd driver. Let's come back over to our email and see what's going on. All right, so our performance work is now completed. That wasn't a real big issue for us because we didn't have a whole lot going on there. We've already taken a look at our scouting report. And let's see. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have another vote. I can swear that we had this vote last season about removing the restriction of the pit crew sizes, but we'll see. All right, let's see. And this is what I was talking about that I'm not a big fan of. To me, this is not a dilemma. You know, do we throw Raphael a huge party, spend $100,000 and help his morale, or do we lower it by only sending a car? I mean, to me, that's just not a thing. You don't spend $100,000 as a race team on a party. Maybe they do in Formula One, but we're pinching pennies here, trying to get all of our money into part development. So no, we're not spending $100,000 here. So that's one of those things that, you know, not a big fan of that in the game. I understand why they put things like that in the game. I just wish it was a little different. All right, and now we've reached the moment where we're going to have a vote. So, but before we get to that, I see something that is another one of the things I don't like in the game, and that is this. We've had this 2, maybe 3 times in our Let's Play, and that is the rumors in the paper that we're thinking about getting rid of them. To me, that's just the game trying to throw random stuff at you for no reason. I don't particularly like that. So that kills his morale down 30. So it's putting us in a hole, even though we've worked extremely hard to get to where we are. So I don't particularly like that kind of thing. You know, maybe there's something I'm doing that's triggering it, so it's my own fault, but just not a fan of that kind of stuff. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and we've got a vote for unlimited pit stop crews. Really here, I don't have any particular care in the world about. It says here that it will not benefit teams with lower budgets, which we're one of those. So I'm just going to abstain from this too because I don't particularly care. It's going to increase the cost by 15 grand, which once again is not a huge deal. Looks like I wasn't the only one that abstained there, so the vote passes. And this one team here really wanted that to pass. And what that's really going to do is, in addition to adding cost, it's going to allow for faster pit stops for your crew. So I can see that as being something that the bigger teams would want, so that their speed on the track is really increased by their speed on the pit road, and they have a larger advantage over some other cars. All right, so our new engine is ready at this point. Let's go ahead and get the email out of the way so we don't have that icon popping up. Okay, so let's go ahead and fit the new engine. And if we take a look here, you can see we're at 180 out of 229. So on the surface, it's not really a whole lot of any difference from our previous engine, but this engine was maxed out at 179. Now we've got one that we can max out at 229. So we'll take that and we'll go ahead and move everybody up. So now the big thing is we move. Sergio really doesn't go anywhere, but Rafael moves from 154 to 179. So that is a pretty big deal. Okay, and now we can come in and we can see that our queue's empty over here, but we've got some great progress that has been made over here on reliability. 98%, nearly perfect all around. So let's go ahead and clear that out. Okay, so now we're going to put our new engine in, and that's the only thing I'm going to put in there, because if we're going to have any opportunity to use this realistically 7 days from now in our next race, then I'm going to have to put all of our pieces on it. I'm also going to add it over here on the performance side as well to work in that direction. And so now, 7 days from now, we're going to see how much improvement we can get there. So we're starting at 40%. Looks like we're about to get interrupted in our fast forwarding because they've got to simulate the upper tiers. All right, we'll go ahead and fast forward through that. And we'll continue on as we get ready for our next event. Okay, let's pop into the car menu and see what we've got. Excellent. So we didn't get a whole lot done, as you might expect, on the performance side of things. But 79% here on the reliability is huge. And quite frankly, that is exactly what we needed. So now we're in a situation where our engines should be in great shape. I mean, 97% here, 79% there. That is going to be awesome. Okay, so with that in mind, we need to choose our sponsor for the next race. And this is going to be a pretty easy one. We're going to make 426, which is more than I was actually expecting. So we're going to make 426 regardless of any bonuses. And we're going to go for a podium, which would be a huge bonus for us. All right, let's go ahead and make sure all of our parts are where we want them to be. Okay, they are. And with that being the case, I believe we're ready to race. So it's race time. We just finished up practice, and as you can see on the screen, Another curveball is coming to us from the game. The practice session was entirely sunny and dry. So now we've got rain, and if we look at the forecast, it doesn't appear that it's going to stop anytime soon, and the track appears that it's going to be full wet. So that's what we'll be starting the race on for both drivers. But we're in an interesting situation here, and I'm going to roll the dice some. I'm going to have fun with this because this is a 13-lap race, and we can make this on one stop. So as I've done in the past, I am going to split the strategy here. I'm going to have Sergio run for it. I'm going to have him go hard, make this a 2-stop race, try to go 5 laps and then 4 and 4 for his stints. I'm going to have Rafael do a 1-stop strategy. Now, that is a huge chance to take because we're on full wets. What happens if it stops raining and, and all that kind of thing? So there's a lot going on here, but I like the excitement. If it doesn't turn out the best for us, so what? It's just a game. We're having a good time with this. It's about more than just, worrying about every finishing position. It's about having fun with it. So this is going to be fun. It's going to be stressful for me to see if it continues to rain and all that kind of thing. But let's take a look at our knowledge base. You can see everything is based off of the soft tires. For Sergio, he's really betting here that it's going to stop raining and get back to a dry race. I really didn't have much of any bonuses to choose from for wet tires or anything like that anyway. But I've done something a little bit different for Rafael. I'm going to try to use a very quick pit stop for him, try to gain a couple of seconds in pit lane, and hopefully that will help us gain some positions with our 1-stop strategy. So that's what we're going with. In our driver strategy, we're going to have Sergio really push hard, and I am going to have him just go with high. We may change that to overtake, but in this first stint, I want to make sure we get at least 1 lap, hopefully with clean air. So I'm saving a little bit of fuel for that. But then the second half of the race, for sure, I'm looking to move that up if at all possible. But we'll see how the whole fuel burn works out and if that is available. So we're going to turn this down to low for Rafael. I'm not sure what to do with the driving style. Reason simply being that I don't know how tire heat is going to be since I didn't have a chance to practice on these. So I may have to end up pushing with Rafael as well. All right, and I think that's everything we need. Again, we're banking on a podium finish so we can get that nice bonus. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So this ought to provide us with some really nice drama. We're going to have, because they start inverted based on points, we've got Rodriguez starting at the very back of the pack, which makes me feel a little better about our strategy with him. And we're going to follow along with Sergio. He is mid-pack. So again, we're really hoping that he can do a great job, at least trying to maintain here at the beginning, get some heat in the tires, and then get that clean air when everybody else starts to make their pit stops. So far, it's not going extremely well. The twisty parts of this track are just extremely, extremely twisty. All right, already you can see the tire heat is just not getting into the car there. It's starting to come up a little bit more for Sergio, but again, it not looking good so far. All right, so we're 15th and 20th, but again, it's hard to tell how you're doing right now because everybody is just in a long line. It's just a Congo line right now. All right, so Sergio is definitely fighting. Rodriguez is right there with him, though. He's not very far behind. So that's the thing I really worry about with these tires. Yep, and that's something I was worried about right there. So now Sergio has fallen to the back of the pack. Now we got both cars back here. Not what I was looking for. All right, next time by, we should be looking at... Yeah, the tires are just not heating up at all. Let's take a quick look here. Okay, it looks like it's going to be drying out. That is going to destroy our strategy for the thing. So let's go ahead and have, let's push him up to high and push him to overtake. Let's go ahead and do that. So my 1-stop strategy is not going to work at all because it was based on the fact that the rain would continue that has not happened, and we are having a terrible time here in the wet. All right, Sergio is struggling mightily. And okay, let's see. We had really no takers there on that time by. Looks like everybody is going to try to wait until they can put on dry tires. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, and we're in a position here. Sergio has run through his tires, most likely a lockup that I missed out on. So let's go ahead and cue him for the pits. We're going to immediately go to the dry weather tires. Yeah, because it's going to dry out very quickly. Let's go ahead and put those on. And fuel options, go ahead and put all of the fuel back in there. And our parts, so far, so good. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and, as we come into this final one, we're going to go ahead and move up to overtake for Rodriguez as, yeah, there we go. Everybody's coming in. So now I want Rodriguez to really push as hard as he can on these tires. Let's go ahead and just pure attack for this last lap. Okay, it looks like we got a good pit stop there for Sergio. He comes out there. We're going to get, as the track dries out, we're fully using up these wet weather tires. We'll go ahead and do all we can. Let's see, parts look good except for there. We're going to go ahead and try to get a quick pit stop. And there. So let's see what he can do on this lap. Again, he's got the clean air here, so as much as the wet weather tires may not be optimum now, I think we're in good shape with these. We got to use them up. All right, so we're pushing hard. Okay, now let's go ahead and pause this for just a moment while I swing this camera around. And we're going to adjust here. We're going to come back down to high and neutral for him. All right, so let's see. Get this done quickly. And he's down to third, fourth, and looks like he's going to come out. Okay, in fifth, so that's not bad at all. All right, so now we've got Sergio, who is pushing as hard as he can. And you want to come in for inters. No chance of that happening. We're in 5th and 11th. All right, so far so good. Let's keep an eye on our tire heat. Yeah, it looks like we're pushing the tires a little bit too hard for Sergio. We're going to back that off a little bit. All right, and all right, so far so good. Let's go ahead and have both cars now push as hard as they can for the engine. That's going to heat up the tires a little bit, I'm sure. But again, we only need to split this last stint up, as it looks like it's going to remain dry for us. We need to split this up and pit somewhere around about lap 9 and 10, maybe 10 and 11, but somewhere in that neighborhood for both cars. Because we just need to make it to the end of the race. We don't need to really save anything. All right, so it looks like here's Sergio down in 13th. He's going to be the first one to come in, and we're going to have to back this off a little bit, because otherwise we're not going to have enough fuel to make it all the way as many laps as we need him to make it. Okay, so far so good. All right, we got pit stops starting. And let's see. We're trying to make it this final lap. Let's go ahead and start up the pit cycle here. Again, doesn't appear to be any problems there. We're going to go ahead and do that. 6 laps of fuel for 4 laps, because we are going to push extremely hard. Let's see. It looks like our parts, wow, 39%. That may not be an option for us. Whew, I don't like that at all. Okay, balanced pit stop. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a shot there. See if we can pick up anything on that route. Okay, we're going to back off a little bit here as well with Rodriguez. And the reason being, I need him to run. Let's see. I tell you what. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm not going to have that ability. I just looked at his fuel, and by the time he gets a rack around to pit lane, I don't know that he's going to have enough fuel. Let's go ahead and let him get a little bit closer. He needs about 1.1 to make it. Okay, he's going to be fine since I backed it down, but not much more than that. Okay, so we've got Sergio now in pit lane. A very good stop. He's now in 12th. Okay, and we've got Rodriguez. Now we need to come in, fresh set of tires. Looks like we're going to be dry through the end. And fill him up. Let's see. Yeah, let's just fill him up to there. That'll give us enough. Plus, it'll give us a quicker pit stop. We're really looking kind of ragged on a few of these parts. But I think we're going to be in good shape. You see there, we're going to come out around the top 5. And let's see how it works out. So we're following Rodriguez here. So far, so good. We've got a gap back to 6th. But remember, we need to be on the podium. That's what we're looking for. All right, so he's in pit lane. And good on the pit stop. He comes out looking in 4th so far. Okay, he's back to 5th, but we can see the end in sight. All right, 6th is closing in on us. All right, we got 3 laps remaining here. We got Sergio back in 13th. All right, we're losing a spot here. Well, it looks like we were going to lose right here in the twisty parts. Okay, so let's go ahead and push as hard as we can. Let's go ahead and push as hard as we can. I actually should have moved up Sergio's earlier, but I missed out on that. Didn't notice that I had backed that down quite that far. All right, we need to pick up a couple of positions if at all possible. I'm not sure that's going to be possible, though, by looking at the mini map in the top right of the screen. All right, we're right here with 4th. 3rd is a ways down. We're going to need some help if we're going to make this happen. That is for sure. We're burning all the fuel we can. Let's go ahead and also... Let's see, what is my condition there? Ooh, we are on the edge of braking there. So I'm going to back that down just a little bit. Let's see, condition. Wow, we're at the edge on... Man, I hate to see that. So I'm going to back it off a little bit, and we're going to see if we can bring it home. As far as that goes, we're going to push the tires as hard as we can. Hopefully, we don't have an engine brake on us for Sergio. All right, so we're hammering as hard as we can. I think we're going to come up a little bit short of the podium, but we're trying to pick up that 4th spot. Well, in fact, it looks like we may need to work hard to hold on to the 5th. And, okay, so we ended the race in 5th there. Let's jump back to Sergio, and he made it. Okay, so we come home 5th and 14th. Not exactly what I was looking for. You know, again, we want those podiums, but not the end of the world. We keep working on it. We had some parts issues back here with Sergio that hindered us. But again, not terribly bad. So we'll go ahead and work through the remaining screens of the race. We're still going to come home with a nice little profit. And we have a low risk of failing. And okay, we did not fail scrutineering. So that's good. We keep our spots. It looks like we did have a 2-place demotion. We've got a few demotions here. So we're 5th and 13th. And let's see, in the driver championship, wow, Rafael is out to a nice lead here, 13 points there. Sergio continues to fall farther down the list. He's now down to 13th. Let's see about the team championship. We now have an 8-point cushion over second place. So far, so good. We want to continue to increase our lead in the championship because ultimately that's what we're after, is that team championship. Now, because of some random events, we're down to 67% from 100 with Sergio, and we're up to 80% morale here with Rafael. And overall, a pretty good race. Not exactly what we were looking for, but if we look at our chairman, we came in third as far as a team goes. We were expected second, so didn't really hurt our happiness any, and basically the same on marketability. So overall, we make 278,000. So we're still in the green. Let's go ahead and add that up. So now we're a little over 5.5 million. So again, not a tremendous race, but not bad either. We're still in the lead in the team championship, and that's what matters. Thank you for joining me on our Let's Play series, and stay tuned for more Motorsport Manager.